It was a rocky road for NC State last season. Now, it led to a pretty good record, but there are a lot of very close results, some good, some bad for the Wolfpack last season. But there's a lot of roster overhaul for Dav Doeren's program entering 2023. You got a new quarterback, some new players entering the program, but a lot of talent is leaving this program as well. However, expectations remain much the same for this Wolfpack team. Can NC State be a little bit of a sleeper, maybe make a run in an ACC title game appearance, or are the Wolfpack going to start to regress in 2023? What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Welcome to my channel. I'm predicting all 133 FBS level college football teams this summer. That means I am doing your favorite team. So hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you know when that video gets uploaded. But hey, there are more ways than that. You can help me support my channel. As of recording this video, we are so close to 1,000 subscribers. It really helped me out a lot by subscribing down below. But hey, you're doing more to help me support my channel right now by watching the video. You can do more by liking, commenting, sharing, and anything else you can think of to help me support my channel. Whatever you guys are able to do, I'm willing, or whatever you guys are willing and able to do, I should say, I'm appreciative of all of it. Thank you guys so much for the growth and support of this channel this summer. Let's talk about the NC State Wolfpack this season. Hey, how do we do preview predictions around here? We're going to go through a roster overview, look at who the team lost, who's coming back, and who's coming in through the transfer portal and recruiting class, as well as taking a look at the 2023 Wolfpack football schedule and giving it a game-by-game preview and prediction. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk Wolfpack football, shall we? In 2023, there is some overhaul to the most important position on the field. The quarterback room is getting some changes. Devin Leary, who's been dealing with injury problems throughout his career, has since transferred over to Kentucky, but was the leading passer last year, 1,265 yards, 11 touchdowns, 4 interceptions on 61% completion percentage. And Ben Finley, who was your second leading passer, 741 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions on just shy of 53% completion percentage, are both leaving this room. Devin Leary, obviously a more talented option than Ben Finley, but both of them pretty solid options leaving this quarterback room. You are going to return MJ Morris, who had 648 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 1 interception, was pretty good for the Wolfpack last season. But in my opinion, your starter entering 2023, Brennan Armstrong. The Virginia transfer got out of a rough situation over there in Charlottesville, coming over here to this program to help spark some life into the offense. A big play quarterback threat is what NC State needs when you lose a player like Devin Leary. In the running back position, fun fact about this NC State team last year, they only had 8 rushing touchdowns last season, and only 3 of them were by a running back, all 3 of them by this man that they lose right here, Demi Sumo Kangbaye. Apologies for mispronunciations on that last name there, but Demi had all 3 rushing touchdowns by a running back and was the team's second leading rusher with 305 yards. He's going to be gone. However, your leading rusher does come back in Jordan Houston, 544 yards last season. And then Michael Allen had 268 yards. They both come back and should be solid options for the running back room. And I doubt neither one of them get into the end zone again in 2023. Wide receiver room is going over some overhaul as you lose a lot of talented options. Thayer Thomas was your leading receiver last year, 642 yards, 4 touchdowns. He is gone, as well as your second leading receiver, Devin Carter, 406 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then Darrell Jones, 280 yards and 3 touchdowns, gone from the team as well. However, your third leading receiver, and Keon Lesane, 342 yards, 2 touchdowns for him last year. And Porter Rooks, who was a bit of the ways down, but 151 yards on 19 catches and a touchdown for him last season, as well as getting a transfer, a much-needed transfer coming over to this team in Dakari Collins, coming over from Clemson, former 4-star out of high school, is a 3-star, according to 24/7 Sports on the transfer portal side of things. Tight end-wise, Trent Penix and Christopher Tootle are both going to be coming back to help lead the way in the tight end room, both of them around 100 to 130 yards last season. On the offensive line, you are going to lose Chandler Zavala, Grant Gibson, and Bryson Spees, but you do return Timothy McKay, Derek Eason, and Dylan McMahon, as well as getting a transfer in Dawson Jaramillo, apologies for mispronunciations, but the former 4-star, 3-star transfer coming over from Oregon. Offensively, with Brennan Armstrong at quarterback, should be pretty sound, but again, you do have some solid pieces to replace there, especially in the wide receiver room. Now, defensively, there's been a pretty good defense over the past couple of seasons, and it loses a lot of top-tier talent from last season. Corey Durden's gone off the defensive line, 27 tackles for him, and you also do lose Joshua Harris as well, 20 tackles. No sacks between them, though, so you aren't losing really any pass rush, although Corey Durden, Joshua Harris definitely do affect that pass rush, or did last season. You do return Davin Van, who had 4.5 sacks last season, tied for second on the team. CJ Clark is another returning option as well, 3 sacks for him last year. Savion Jackson and Trevally Price, some other names that come back to the defensive line. In the linebacking room, you do lose your leading tackler from last year, had 100 tackles, 101 to be more specific, and led the team in sacks with 7.5 sacks. That's a big loss. Isaiah Moore was your 4th leading tackler, 82 tackles, 3 sacks last season. You're going to lose him off the linebacking unit as well. But Peyton Wilson, hey, he has had a 100-tackle season for this Wolfpack team. He ends up coming back, 83 tackles, 4.5 sacks for the team last season. Jalen Scott is another returning piece to the linebacking unit, as well as Devin Betty, who returns to the linebacking unit as well. In the defensive back room, well, Derek Pitts is going to be gone, had 6 passes defended and was the 5th leading tackler last year. Tyler Baker-Williams is another solid option that leaves, as well as Tanner Engel, who was the team's 2nd leading tackler, had 2 interceptions for the team last season, and Cyrus Fagan, another solid piece, 6 pass defended, 3 interceptions for this team last year. All of them gone. However, Shaheem Battle, who had 5 pass defended, 2 interceptions, 34 tackles for this team last year, he comes back. Devon Boykin is going to be coming back for this team. Did have an interception last season. Jakeen Harris is coming back, as well as Aiden White coming back as well. Did lead the team in pass defended and interceptions last season. Also added on a pick 6. I think this is going to be a pretty solid Wolfpack defense. Offensively, you get Brendan Armstrong coming in. There is some overhaul to work through, but Dav Doeren's group does know how to play an aggressive brand of football. Speaking of which, he is your head coach, followed by offensive coordinator Robert Anay, and your defensive coordinator is Tony Gibson, as we take a look at the Wolfpack football schedule for 2023. Hey, any game at home is going to be underlined, and any game the Wolfpack are going to have to play on the road is going to be in italics or the slanted text. Any game you see in green will be a game that I think the Wolfpack will win easily. Any game in yellow is a game where, hey, okay, the other team will put up a fight, or it's a very close back and forth game, but the Wolfpack will be able to win. And red, I see being a loss for this NC State team as we start your first game of the season on the road against UConn. Do not count out these UConn Huskies this year. They showed last year that they are a team to fear. That's going to be a very fun, competitive football team to watch, I do believe, in 2023. However, I do not believe they match up to NC State. I think a very, very close, competitive game there. Definitely a game I could put in green as well. But going on the road, first game of the year, I think it's going to be a little tough for NC State. But any way you slice it, I do see them coming out there with a win. I think UConn can be competitive. I just do not see them beating the NC State Wolfpack. However, I do see, any way you slice it, Notre Dame beating NC State. With Sam Hartman coming in, you got a lot of big play ability at the quarterback position. He's got a lot of offensive weapons around him. And the defense, okay, albeit does have some scrutiny with it, but I expect it to improve in 2023, be able to shut down this Wolfpack attack. And I don't think the Wolfpack defense will do enough against Sam Hartman to be able to stop it. And so I believe Notre Dame will be able to roll to a win against the NC State Wolfpack. However, again, any way you slice it, I'm just loving saying that in this video. Apparently, you are going to beat VMI. There are no way that the Keydets are going to be able to get the better of the Wolfpack here in 2023. On the road against Virginia could be a very interesting game, but again, with losing Brennan Armstrong to, again, this NC State Wolfpack team, I do not see Virginia being super competitive in the ACC this year. I don't think they're going to get many wins. Now, they may keep some games close that, hey, maybe a lot of people are not expecting them to keep close. But, again, Virginia projects to be one of the worst teams in Power 5 this season. I think it is going to be a very emotional season. Don't be surprised if they exceed expectations. But Tony Elliott's group, I think, will be dropping this game to the NC State Wolfpack there at home. You get to come back home if you are the NC State Wolfpack for the Week 5 game against the Louisville Cardinals. Louisville's going to be a very interesting team this year. Jack Plummer in at quarterback. He's got a new yet familiar head coach, new Well, and familiar at the same time to this Louisville program. Jeff Brom comes in, brings a former Purdue quarterback and Jack Plummer with him. He transferred over from Cal this season. There's a lot of roster overhaul. There are some really good players leaving, as well as some really good players coming in. 25 to 30 transfers, I think, is what Jeff Brom ended up bringing to this team. Believe he does have a top 10 portal class there. Louisville, don't be surprised. The schedule sets up nicely for them. They're going to be an ACC sleeper this year, but as far as this game goes, it's going to be on a Friday night. I think NC State's going to play a really good game here. I think Brennan Armstrong maybe going to be a little too explosive for a Louisville defense that does lose a lot. And I believe NC State's going to be able to win this game here against the Louisville Cardinals. This is going to be a very close back and forth game. Don't be surprised if Louisville's going to be able to win that matchup. But I think defensively, NC State's going to do just enough, and Brennan Armstrong will make a play or two that'll help them win that game at home. At home against the Marshall Thundering Herd, do not count out Marshall. They pulled off an upset against Notre Dame last year, and that's a team that's going to be poised to do it again. However, they are losing, I believe, their best offensive weapon in Corey Gamage, as well as some other pieces there. Again, don't be shocked. Marshall's going to be a good team this year, but NC State will be able to win that game. So starting out 5-1, looking really good for the Wolfpack, but your back half of the schedule is a lot tougher than your front half. You got to start off with a road game against the Duke Blue Devils, and that is a Blue Devil team that is going to have a dynamic offense this year. Riley Leonard has a lot of returning talent in the running back room, wide receiver room, really any way you slice it. There's a lot of returning talent for that Duke team. I do not believe that NC State, defensively, they may be able to make some stops, but offensively, I don't know if Brennan Armstrong will put up enough points as Duke will put up. Going on the road, I think that's going to be a tough game for this Wolfpack team. I think they're going to drop that one before the bye week on the road against the Duke Blue Devils. And then you come back from your bye week. Granted, it is a home game, and I believe it will be a winnable game for the NC State Wolfpack with the brand of defense that this team plays, with Brennan Armstrong, a big play quarterback. I think this game here against Clemson is a very, very, very winnable game for this team. However, I think Clemson just will be able to play a lot better than what this NC State team does at their own game. I think Clemson will have a very physical defense, as they usually do, and I expect it to improve statistically from seasons past. This offense, I expect to improve tenfold from where it was last year. You have Garrett Riley, a phenomenal play caller, coming in there. Cade Klubnik's got a very high ceiling. Again, would not be surprised if NC State were to win this game, but I do believe that Clemson's going to be walking away with the win at the end of the day. You got a game against Miami coming up here next, and you know what? I do think that 2-game losing streak is going to stop. I think NC State's going to be able to beat Miami. Now, a lot of interesting opinions on Miami this year. They could be really good, or they could fall apart again this year, but you got a new offensive coordinator. Tyler Van Dyke is coming back at quarterback. We'll see if he's able to have a resurgence. There's a lot of talent offensively, defensively for Mario Cristobal's team. I just think Miami's going to have a couple really, really rough games this year. They got a lot of great talent, but NC State will be able to win this game here as well. Now, when you look at this next 2-game stretch for the Wolfpack, I do believe they're going to end up losing one of them. Now, I do think Wake Forest is the more talented team out of the two. They are losing Sam Harmon, but I think there's enough talent there on that Wake Forest team to be able to pull off a win of this caliber. I believe that Brennan Armstrong may have some struggles against this Wake Forest defense, albeit it does have to improve. But one of these 2 games, I do see the Wolfpack being able to drop. I think there's going to be a game that gets them here on the road. Maybe it's Virginia, but I have it being Wake Forest, which means I have them beating Virginia Tech. I think it's going to be another rough year for the Hokies. Brent Pry needs a little more time to build that program there, but enter Sandman. Who knows if that's going to be a night game or not, but it's always tough to go on the road and play in Blacksburg. I think that game will be very competitive at least. Then you get the rivalry game against North Carolina. That North Carolina defense was abysmal last season. It has got to be a whole lot better in 2023 to be able to really compete for an ACC title. But they do have a very explosive offense that I think are going to give this North Carolina State defense fits. However, at the end of the day, I think Brennan Armstrong makes some plays, and this NC State defense is going to be able to step up here, make some plays, but especially Brennan Armstrong with his big arm will make that Tar Heel defense pay. And then I got the NC State Wolfpack finishing 8-4 in 2023. Now, again, there are some games that could sneak up on them. I'm having Wake Forest do just that, but Miami at home, Louisville at home, Virginia and Virginia Tech on the road, maybe even UConn. North Carolina is a very losable game there as well. Well, I got the Wolfpack sitting 8-4. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And hey, as always, remember, play hard but tailgate harder. See you guys in the next video. Goodbye.